Welcome to Gardening with Daddy Pete. Let's join our host, Melvin York.
Well, hello, everyone. This is Melvin York with Gardening with Daddy Pete. And today I'm going to answer some questions, or one main question that a lot of people ask me all the time. Why do I need to garden? What is the benefits of it? And they go on and on and on. Hopefully we can cover some of those today. The number one reason for gardening on your own, and again, we've talked about this several times, and we'll go over it again. No matter what space you're in, you can either grow in pots, you can grow in containers of some sort, you can do raised bed gardening, you can actually make a raised up bed in the ground without using the boards or the surrounding perimeter of the bed. You can kind of mound it a little bit. The main goal of a raised bed garden is to make sure that we can hold in the kind of dirt that we want. Sometimes it's a good shield to keep out weeds and some little small critters. But most of all is to let, in heavy rain season, it will allow those to drain, not stand around the roots of your vegetables. Plant, we've talked about this before, needs the same thing that you and I need when it comes to oxygen, when it comes to water, when it comes to sunlight, temperature, cold and hot. So keep that in mind. With too much water, we can drown. So can those plant roots. And that's where they do the drowning from, is those roots. Your roots of the plant is what takes up oxygen, water, and nutrients. So we like to have them to have a adequate amount of drainage, but again, close enough to where they can run out and get their nutrients and get their water and their oxygen. So just to keep in mind, that's one reason we do raised beds. We've actually did a video. You can go on our website at daddypetes.com and look under some of the old videos we had archived, did a demonstration on how you can plant in a straw bale. Another thing that you can plant in is our own bags. When you buy a bag of our potting mix or a bag of our raised bed mix, you can actually take one side, and if you don't have anything but an old screwdriver, on one side and just pop some holes all the way through it, roll it over, take your knife and cut you 2 to 3, depending on what you're growing, or one in the center. If it's tomato, I put one in the center. Just make an X in it, fold it back, plant your plant in it, and then buy some mulch and put around it. Actually, it's a good looking, even for a piece out in the yard. It looks good. You've got your mulch around it, your plant growing out of it. If you're doing smaller plants like cucumbers, you can still stake them, put a couple plants to it. Squash, zucchini, again, would be one plant. But green beans, you can do several. In a raised bag of that raised bed mix, you should be able to do at least 10 to 12 green bean plants there. And believe me, in the springtime, taste is phenomenal. You can't get anything like it at the store because you're going to pick it fresh there, take it straight in and cook it. And you don't get any fresher than that. And you would be surprised how many green beans that you could get off of that. Again, open it up, open that top, use it like a raised bed. This time of year early, sow radishes, carrots. You can sow onions in it or plant onions in it. It just goes on and on at what you can do in just a small amount of space. Why do we garden? Number one, the fresher you get your vegetables, the quicker that you, from picking to on your plate, you're not losing any of the nutrition or very little. The minute the vegetable is picked, the enzymes start working. They start to go ahead and start the decaying process just that quick. So when things are picked, if you'll notice, tomatoes, bananas, at the grocery store, they come in on the green side. They're picked early. They've already gone through that process. That's the farthest thing from fresh that you could ever get. When you're out in your garden, you see that tomato turn that ripe red, yellow, or could be striped color, depending on the varieties you got. And that tomato's ready to come off, go right on that sandwich, go into that salad, or go into your cooking. And you will never taste anything like that because it is that delicious. Same thing with any of the vegetables you grow. So one reason we do it for the nutrition part. Another thing we want to do it for is the quality of our vegetables and the amount or the rarity of some of our vegetables are getting harder and harder to find. So again, this will guarantee you a supply of your vegetables, and they will be fresh. You know what they are. You know what's been put on them. When you buy in the store, you don't even know the variety. They may put something up, but different varieties like green beans has a lot of different tastes. Tomatoes is another one. You can go from a tangy tomato to a sour tomato, more sour that we'd use in making sauces, or you can do a sweet tomato that's good for slicing and eating. But without you knowing or getting the chance to try every one of those in the garden, you can actually try a couple different varieties. So, well, and keep the journal, as we always talk. I'm going to try some contenders. I'm going to try some Blue Lake green beans. I'm going to try some half yard. I'm going to see which one I like the best, which one my family likes the best. Again, these are all the benefits of growing. If you have small children, by all means, get them outside. There's been studies shown that most of our actually chronic health problems and some cancers come from the lack of vitamin D. The best form of vitamin D is free. It's getting in the sunshine. Now, of course, you want to do that without staying out in it for an hour straight and, no protection. That's not what we're talking about here. When you're working a garden, actually, you need your protection. But you're getting fresh air, you're getting vitamin D, you're getting exercise. And here's the biggie. When you're out there, believe it or not, at the sense of calm that comes over you, you're letting stress just fly out the door. And it's just a great feeling, too, and such a sense of accomplishment when you pick those vegetables, take them in, prepare them for the evening meal or the Sunday meal when you have, or here's another thing. Grab a basket full, take to your neighbor, maybe your elderly neighbor, or your mom or dad or uncle, cousin somewhere, because I'll tell you, they will really love that gift. That small basket of fresh vegetables will mean more to them than anything with the company that goes along with it. So that's another thing to think of. Again, our children need something to do besides video games, besides being in the house all the time. This also will give them something to do, gets the vitamin D, gets the fresh air into them. And once again, they learn a sense of accomplishment. They get to watch something grow. There is no way that you can beat a garden for all the different things it provides for you. And it's all on the good side. Now, we're going to talk just a little bit about shortages. Shortly here, we do have some that we've seen shortage of vegetables. We couldn't get these. We couldn't get that. Again, herbs, fruits, these are all things you can grow. Go back to our different podcasts. You can learn more about that. But how about herbicides? Okay. Well, let's just say, all right, I don't have the time to cook fresh vegetables. I don't even buy them at the store. I buy them in a can. Okay. Here's another biggie that's really getting everybody: preservatives. We have so many different types of preservatives, we really don't know what's in anything anymore. One thing that you're not going to have in that fresh vegetable is preservatives. And if you do preserve it to last into the winter, you're going to can it. You're going to know what's there. You're going to know what you're feeding your family. You're going to know what you're eating. Health right now, your health is worth more than anything. And we start out with exercise. We start out by eating right. And how can we eat right if we don't know how something's grown? In today's world, where you have so many things, even with ground beef, how much ground bone does it have? How much of this does it have? How many fillers does it have? Same thing with vegetables. What is it a GMO? Is it been sprayed with this? Has it been sprayed with that? Has it been this insecticide? Has it herbicide? So these are questions that you don't know, but you can answer. You can answer if you do the growing. Now, at the initial start of growing a garden for this year, yes, you've got a little money tied up. And if you do the raised bed or you buy some form of cultivation, if you're going to go into a row garden, maybe a tiller, maybe plow, hose, spades, some watering apparatus, some seed. But for the price of a pack of seed, you can grow multiple pounds of vegetables. And this just never ending. Do you realize on average, and I counted at one time, one kernel of corn you planted in makes a stalk. You usually get 2 ears. That's for running going. Some I've seen more, some I've seen less. But out of that one kernel, it produces back on that air around 130 kernels. So this is the type of abundance that I'm talking about. One green bean seed puts out a vine. There you've got green beans going crazy, and they produce over and over. When they get mature, all vegetables, you need to pick them so they can bloom again, go again on most of them. Things are so expensive at the store. A garden in this day and time will pay for itself relatively the first year, easy enough if you don't probably make a profit off of it too. And again, you do get to share with other people. Now, if you're doing a row garden and you're growing an abundance of vegetables, put them on your local swap shop, take them down to the farmer's market. People that cannot grow their own vegetables are just so wanting to trust someone to grow them some good vegetables. We have cancer patients around, and they need to be using vegetables and fruits that does not have herbicides, does not have insecticides on them. They don't need to have certain fertilizers on them. And this is detrimental to their health, to their healing. So I think you could say we could start a healing process of the garden, because you trust me, you will find peace in that garden. Now, you can go to our website at daddypetes.com, and you can look at all of our different products. You can go also on there and find the store locator that sells them in your area. One thing else that you can do is you can go through and look at all these podcasts. We do keep them archived along with videos. And if that doesn't get the job done, there is a place there to ask a question. Shoot me a question. I'll make sure you get an answer on that, because that's what we do. Our slogan at Daddy Pete's is, we help you grow, and we intend to do that very thing. We've been around since 1907. The Smith family has been farming that land since 1907. We're a century farm. And yes, we are proud of it for the simple reason that we do try to produce a good product to make sure that you and your family can accomplish the goal of gardening, vegetable orchards, for lawns, whatever that you're doing. And that's another thing too. Cut up some of that lawn. It doesn't cost that much to lose a little bit of lawn when you can grow those types of vegetables. I'll leave you with this. My dad always said something I thought it was funny when I was a kid, and I think it's even funnier now. He said, there's two things that a man can do, and yes, it looks good, but he never makes any money. And that's mowing the lawn and shaving. He says, two things that, yeah, you look better when you get done, but it has not made you any money. It's cost you. So take part of that lawn out of there, put it into some garden that will help you and your family eat properly. Well, until next time, you've been listening to Garden with Daddy Pete, and we do appreciate you listening and turning in to us today. This is Melvin York. Happy gardening.
Thank you for joining today's Gardening with Daddy Pete. You can check out our website at daddypetes.com for additional gardening tips, and our podcast at gardeningwithdaddypete.podbean.com. You can also join us on Amazon, Apple, or Spotify.